be in the semi-finals of Owlscraft already, or at least semi-finals upper bracket.
Yeah.
That's some sick stuff.
Yeah.
And it spices things up in the lower bracket as well now.
That's very
Right?
true. Lower
We've got
bracket guys
we've got
probably
a
had
shock down there.
Yeah.
Once he gets warmed up, it's
Yeah.
gonna be dangerous.
Absolutely.
Right.
They probably expected one thing, and now suddenly he's in the bottom bracket. No, thank you. If you don't recognize that voice right there, by the way, that is Blisk, who did take, what was that, 2-1?
Yep,
Yeah,
2-1
over his
off
opponent.
Azure.
Yeah. We'll get some details on that after the introductions. On the bottom right, as the green Terran, he is Azure.
Played some really good StarCraft, I think, in the group stages in particular. Like, he looked very solid.
Yeah.
Obviously, wasn't able to get it done against the American, but still, overall, looked very good. And I figured that when he was going up against you in the quarterfinals, I was like,
Yeah.
I think that's quite 50-50, man, between these two, especially because he plays the kind of style that I think is somewhat difficult for you to tackle, right? Because he's
Yeah.
kind of like a solid defensive Terran, and
Yeah.
you're obviously quite an aggressive Protoss. We'll
Yeah.
talk about your series in a split second. After we introduce this nerd that we already saw earlier today on the left up side, it is our Zerg player, the Kiwi. It is Crimson.
Oh, that's right. He's from New Zealand.
Yeah, I
So
call
we've
him an
we've
Aussie.
two. I think we've got two guys from New Zealand. I think.
Yeah, call him an Aussie. He's like, I'm not an Aussie. I'm from New Zealand, mate. I'm British. I was like, okay. Representing Mind Freak, by the way, new organization
Yeah.
that picked up a lot of these nerds from down under. So Blisk, we got you here on the couch, not to talk about TVZ, but I want to hear about your games against Azure. Talk us through. Game one, what happened?
So first game, he saw that I opened like a cybernetics call first, and then he went for an engineering bait block. So that's kind of common these days. Force the Protoss into an uncomfortable start.
So what
I
did you do?
immediately
Did you
just
kill
took
it,
the
or
Nexus.
did you expend somewhere
I
else?
just expanded on the third.
Yeah.
Like that's the way to go. Come on, man.
Yeah, I agree.
It delays their factory, and their follow-up pushes are later, and that's exactly what happened. I teched up way quicker than usual. His follow-up push came when I already had two Colossus out, and third Colossus on the way. So I shut that push down. First game was really clean.
Did you have 2 base or 3 base when you made those Colossus?
2 base when I started,
Yeah.
3 base when he
The push
attacked.
came.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, and then after that, the second game was mech. So that's the toughest play style.
No,
man.
mate. Let me tell you, okay?
Okay.
You open up with a bunch of Phoenixes and you get like at least 4 observers around the map.
Mm-hmm.
You can have 1 safety immortal against whatever dumb push they make.
Okay.
If it's like a weird push with a couple of basic
Let me
Marines.
just say, you're gonna watch me do exactly this later if you guys are gonna cast me and Vindictor.
Okay.
So
Alright,
Yeah,
so
not back, yeah.
basically like you need to get 1 safety immortal in case they are annoying with like the 2 Cyclone, 2 Viking, couple basic Marines and a tank push.
yeah.
Other than that, you just get observers, Phoenixes. You get 3 bases going. You get your fleet beacon. You go up to 4 bases. You basically just control the pace of the game. Kill some SUVs with your Phoenixes. You're not looking for anything crazy. Just don't take any economic damage at home. You snipe Medevacs, you snipe Hellions, and then you go Carrier, Disruptor, double Robo, Disruptor, Carrier, only attack upgrades. You can make 1 or 2 Tempests at first if you feel like the push is coming and you don't want to wait for carriers. Other than that, just pure Carrier Disruptor. Once you can get there, you're gonna crush mech. No mech army will beat Carrier Disruptor other than Mass BC.
All right. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Wow.
try that out later on.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
I did.
Zealot stock.
Here we're gonna hear. Well, what's that? No, I just opened the standard 2 gate, get the third, and I think the time when I noticed it was mech was too late, and for some reason I had up to 5 colossi, so that's like a bad play right there already. Got a couple of disruptors, try to multi-prong harass, but when you do that, I think you just bleed out a lot of zealots in the end. And even though I had decent bases, but he was doing the TY style,
Yeah.
tons of banshees, speed banshees running around.
That's
And
really
so-
what Phoenix is doing more.
Yeah,
man. Like, that
Phoenix
stuff
would
is
have helped so
annoying.
much. So, and I wasn't on top of the observers being around the map as well. So that was the issue. And then the last game, I tried to proxy an Oracle.
Yeah.
Immediately scouted it, and then went for the most perfect like reaction to it, which was to proxy, not proxy, but to like 2 Cyclone, 1 Medevac, couple of Marines with SEV pull, and then do the push, the kind of reactive push, which should kill a Protoss. But your man with some godly micro and tons of gateway units with stalkers, just kind of like, it was very, very, very close. But yeah,
I love how he just referred to himself as your
Right?
man. I love it, mate. Well, congratulations, obviously being top 4 in the upper bracket so far. I think that's
Yeah.
awesome. Jess, talk to me. That's a very quick lamb, but he's also going double Evo.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit confused. He might have wanted to get the lair and then scouted that it was BC, and then he went for a double evolution upgrades, and then he goes into 1-1 for the melee, which I'm still a little, because he definitely saw the fusion core, right?
Yep.
Like, he knows it's I mean, I would have expected
No,
Azure
he
to
did
go
not.
into mech.
Oh, he didn't. This
Oh,
is,
wow, he
this
didn't.
is actually
No,
huge.
we saw it because I was zooming in on it.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually very true. The Marine was there to try and block out the Overlord, but it's Overlord speed, so...
Yeah, he should always see it. Like,
Like,
why do you
yeah.
have... with Overlord speed, there is no excuse for not scouting a fusion core. okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless it's in the corner of the map, but even then you should scout it.
Yeah.
I'm still-
I think like defending versus Banshees, going Spores is fine, but versus Battlecruisers, you need a ton of Queens.
Yeah.
And he does have a decent amount, but not seeing it come is still huge, so...
Can we see the... What did he see on the barracks and stuff with the Overlord Scout? Okay.
It does look like a Banshee, like if you ask me.
He's got 6 queens.
Yeah,
but
sure,
he's
sure,
also,
sure.
Wasn't he getting a... Wait.
I thought you said his lair was finished already, and I was confused by that, but no, it didn't. Like he's getting
Just
a
started.
5-minute lair.
Now he sees this is his first sighting of the Battlecruiser, and
Yes,
he's
it
sort
is.
of panicking.
It's
He has
already
to bring
good.
back the Queens.
It's already good right now. If you're opening up BC like this, you're getting 3 drones, you're not taking a lot of damage, a little bit of lost mining time. Okay, I don't know why he's shooting the extractor here.
That's not
No.
too helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're
We'll get another Overlord here.
if they were
maybe?
already prepping like their anti-battlecruiser, there's like a couple different things you can do against it, right? Especially if you assume they're going to go mech afterwards, which, by the way, I'm not sure he's got a secondary
Risky.
scout yet.
Risky.
Oh, decent grenade there, but Lings are still chasing after the Hellions. They do pick off 1 Hellion in the Reaper. 3 Hellions to survive, and they're going to go in for another round of the drones.
I'm not sure that's the...
No.
Yeah,
Best
that ain't
After
cheap.
you already were almost caught on creep to then go
Yeah.
back in, that's like...
That's pretty risky.
It's
So-
like basically when a cheetah's chasing you and somehow gets distracted by something in the crew, you're like, hey man, I'm over here, and the cheetah's like, oh cool, it's like chases you down again, you're like, oh no. Like,
Has he done a follow-up scout yet on Azure?
He's
I-
doing one now.
Okay,
Like, this
like,
is his
good, because
follow-up
I'm not
scout.
sure. I didn't think he saw that it was that it was going to be barracks. He might have thought that it was going to be mech.
I also
But-
think it's quite important for him to go scout the 3rd. Like,
He can play Mutilating Bane now, though,
basically.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
obvious.
So I thought maybe that it was mech, but he was getting a Spire and he was still continuing on with the typical hook. So there might also be that he actually was like, yeah, Azure can go for a bio afterwards. Which is
I'm
obviously
quite
what he's
surprised
doing.
Azure stopped at just 1 Battlecruiser.
I
Like,
think
in that
that's-
situation, would you have gone for
if you
2
want to
or
go
3?
for the quick bio follow-up, I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
acceptable. It depends a little bit what you're going up against, right? If you're playing against like a Roach Queen opener, then it's like it's absolutely worth to get at least 2 battle cruisers, if not even 3. But I think in a situation like this, I can live with it. I think what he was hoping for was an overreaction from Crimson, like we've seen a couple of times in this tournament, where Azure is like, oh no, I need like roaches to deal with the aliens, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
make 8 corruptors, and then your 1BC really paid off. Unfortunately, in this case,
This
it
is-
just didn't really pay off yet.
So it
Yeah.
seems like he's getting a Spire for the Battlecruiser, though.
No, I think that's for Mutas, man, because he doesn't have roaches. He's just gonna play
He has
Mutilating Bane.
Hydralisk now.
As in,
What?
right now it feels like he's doing a
he
follow-up
went
push.
for
Well, he
Hydralisk.
is. He's right across the map, and with
Okay.
the Battlecruiser having cleaned up so much creep at the edges
Very
of the
super
Zerg's
supply
base,
blocked.
he's got a really tough time spotting this. So
He might not just use the Spire at all. Maybe that was like a Spire in case I need Corruptors, but he doesn't. This is a sick run by.
wow.
Obviously, these Lings already have 1-1, so this is going to do a lot of damage, but can he keep his Sport base alive? He gets a good connection with the Banelings as well on those Marines.
That was... The Crimson was heavily supply blocked right
Yeah.
there. I feel like if you just didn't lose like 10 Marines, this would have
Oh, no,
be very
no,
close to being game
no,
over.
no,
but on the
no.
flip side, not losing your Baneling is also really helpful. Extra Queens, like I do too much against the Marines or even the
Lings.
tanks. Really gets out of there with the Battlecruiser. This is good. It's good to use the run by Lings, come back here and clean this up. And there's like maybe 8 less Marines than there should have been. Oh, they doesn't get that
Oh,
tank.
that was very weird. Like he was trying to
Yeah.
pick them up, but couldn't quite get them into the ship there.
That was a little weird, but yeah, like this is, I think it's an odd game because Crimson was obviously surprised by the Battlecruisers, so his Spire's not being used.
I like the 9 drones now a lot. I was looking at his drone count and I was like, mate, please go up to like 82 drones right now. That's really what you want to do. But he starts building those Hydras a bit quicker, so he's just not going to use the Spire for now. I think he was indeed worried about a 2nd, a 3rd Battlecruiser, but he doesn't have to worry about that, so he's like, no, I don't want to play Mutilating Bane. Actually, I
Yeah.
think I would have preferred Mutas in this game over Hydras, but that's just me.
He has been playing a lot of Hydras, so it might just be his like comfort zone.
Yeah,
I
obviously.
think there's a lot of this game can be chalked up to him not expecting one thing and then kind of autopiloting / like what aboutism almost, like what about this, what about that, and then yeah, he could have actually just played like his normal style and just dealt with the Battlecruiser with a couple of
This
Queens.
is a sick little...
Oh, pity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is a sick little...
it's worth getting the tank if the Lings die.
Yeah, I mean, like
Oh,
sniping
wow.
tanks like that when it's completely random, that's such a good feeling if you're a Zerg player. You're like, this was an investment of nothing, and then you
Yeah.
got a tank. That feels good.
Yeah. But on Azure side, like I think he's done very well. I like the Battlecruiser into a Swift bio. Again, like I've talked about that, some Zerg players say that the mech one is the best follow-up, but obviously this can be a very good thing. And I think that push was going to be very good. Maybe just mishandled the reaction against the Banelings just a tad bit. Now forgetting his +2 armor does suck.
Yeah, I feel like even though Crimson's got a good handle on his defenses, like he's been holding, but the thing is Azure's been building up so much of an army, and his worker count hasn't really been affected too much. And right now, this kind of pushes, it's going to be really dangerous for Crimson.
I feel like where Azure is very dangerous as well, though. There should have been a couple of links coming from the south side, but there's so much bio still in Medivacs, so I really have the feeling that Azure was just not ready to fight this, even if it's off creep. The splits, I don't think, are good enough, man. A lot of banelings connected with those Marines, and this was a bad trade for Azure.
Yeah, missed opportunity to get a concave there, as well as I think that was being too fancy, right? Like if he had just pushed off to the right side, I think it does really well, but he tried to kind of do the double hit the 5th and the 3rd. Didn't really work out.
Do you feel like he should have only pushed out with way more tanks? Like it felt like 3 tanks just wasn't enough.
I just don't think he should have been there. Or what Jess said, like just keep the game simple for yourself and just either only work on this base or only go for this base, but try to do both at once. I mean, half of his army was stuck in Medivacs, man.
Yeah, I think you only threaten what he did. You never actually do it. Like, you know what I mean? Because then the units are still on there for Crimson, but you're actually attacking into the 3rd.
Yeah, and slowly but surely, Crimson's getting up to his Vipers as well. So once he gets that, it makes his engagements even more powerful.
All right, Blisk, as a Protoss player, what do you think about Parasitic Bomb?
What do you think about Parasitic Bomb?
Yeah.
I've seen like players like Dark and Rogue use it. Like they go Ling, Roach, Bane, that kind of thing, and then Parasitic Bombs on the Medivacs. I think that's cool, but when you have like Hydralisk, why not just, you know,
oh no, I wasn't talking about like this game in particular. Obviously, it can be nice if like 12 Medivacs are on top of each other. I think dropping a Parasitic Bomb is sick, but I guess you're not much of a Phoenix player, right? So you don't really feel the pain.
He's like, what, Vipers?
You don't really like Phoenixes, right?
I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the 2 Stargate Phoenix now. I just don't like doing
nice
what
guy.
everyone
How can you
is
say
doing.
that to me?
Wow.
This is a massive run by
I like
the way.
watching it. That's the difference.
Like if you were a dedicated Phoenix player, like I think I am myself.
You would hate it.
Yeah, Parasitic Bomb is like the one thing in the game that really makes me stop building Phoenix. Like once they have Vipers, it's like, alright, that's it. This is the end of my unit. Because Phoenixes clump like no other.
Yeah.
And Phoenixes have a very similar skin tone to Parasitic Bomb. So it's so hard to figure out which one. Oh my goodness! My turn.
Oh, safe.
Jeez. That was way too close.
Does he have Adreno yet? Yes,
Hey.
he does.
Yeah. I guess that might have changed the expectation.
5 stealings.
I love the center tower. He's definitely gonna. I think he should set up one now as Planetary's building
The
for his
Planetary is
4th
gonna
base.
go down, man. Well, there's the thing.
That's good belief stuff there too. But I think you do still need a sensor tower there because we're getting into the late game. He's not gonna have a
Oh, the
free
tank
hack there
there.
at all. Nah.
I like that he settled for the bio there.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, here comes the Ling's second wave here, round 2.
No Marines though, so this is actually a fight that the Lings are absolutely going to win for now. That's -2 Marauders, minus a tank. Look at Crimson's army, it's sharking around, it's looking for an opening. Where are those Vipers?
Just trying that. That was a really good bait, trying to bait him back with the Lings there and then trying to move into a better position.
Absolutely.
But very good swing around by Azure still.
These guys are pretty evenly matched. You can
Yeah,
really
I would say so.
Yeah.
And here comes with the big brute force of the Zerg army. Ultralisk out,
Sick blinding
Vipers
clouds.
throwing out the blinding clouds, totally destroying the tanks there. The bio getting split up, but is this enough versus the mass
Why-
amount of Zerg forces here?
Why before kindness, my friend? I mean, I know you're super rich, and it wasn't the worst fight ever. Wait,
Wait, that was a
doesn't
kindness.
need
That
to-
was
Didn't
movement
it just
speed.
barely
No.
still trade out here?
Yeah, kindness.
It's going to be a trade, but that definitely that was an overextension. If Azure actually had the ability to go up with the left ramp too, I think that would have been better. But he still had the concave. It was still off creep. And now he's going to grab a lot of free Hydras, a lot of creep spread also, and he can also do some drops.
Yeah,
Balancing
like
out the
his
army.
+3/+3 wasn't done yet, so I think that was one of the biggest
Yeah,
things.
it felt a
Waiting
little
10
bit of
more
an
seconds.
anti-timing, but maybe Crimson just thought like, hey man, I'm freaking rich, let's just fight, let's trade, even if it's like somewhat even, it's gonna be good for me because I have way more money than you. And he's not totally wrong there, but I think it's safe to say that that fight could have gone a little bit better. I don't think these Lings can do anything. I love these bunkers are so annoying for run-bys. They just completely shut it down.
He already has a fusion core, so he can easily go into Liberator range. And he already has. Now he has 3 starports. He was just building 2 more
He
starports.
doesn't know.
Yeah, sometimes you start off with that battle cruiser rush and then you kind of forget that, oh, that tag is already there
Right.
within my reach. So
Yeah,
we don't see him
that's-
automatically going for it yet, but
Yeah, lip
that's
range is
gonna
the
help
one.
so much.
It's the one upgrade he truly needs right now. Like, come
Yeah.
on, mate, you really need this.
He also never started +3 armor again. Seems to be. consistently,
He hates armor.
Yeah, he hates it. This is. We're going to see what his late game TVZ looks like, and certainly going to Liberators is going to be very good here, but I'd love to see also some Ghosts eventually. This is a pretty nice position. Not,
His army is small.
not a lot of tanks, and they're pretty clumped up here. One.
I feel like he
maybe
should
one
have way
blinding
more,
cloud?
no?
He's got 71
he's
workers.
going in again.
Oh, Ling run by the way. Ling's in the main base, Ling's in the natural. These are very well upgraded Lings, as strong as they can possibly be. So that SCV count, that's gonna go up. Are we gonna get a big
God,
fight?
Siege.
He's on siege.
Oh, wow. Very good
The
moves
limbs
here
are not
from
set
his
up either.
He's not paying attention.
Oh,
that
no.
Ling run by is so deadly because it gets you to be distracted.
Yeah, like that kind of forces him to either be aggressive or like pull back, and either way, it's not a great
That's it.
situation for Azure. And Azure, Crimson is just cleaning house there on his production, and at the front, catching him in a bad position as well. Baneling's crushing in, Ultralisk on the front lines. He's sort of pushing through, but you know they're still very clunky units, these Ultralisks, and they do
Just settle for the
slightly get-
5th, I think, if you're
Yeah,
Crimson in.
there we
Just
go.
Try to kill this.
Crimson. This is like the 5th time this game where he's
Oh my God.
leaving
He
something.
killed the natural, by the way. He killed the
Oh,
natural.
wow.
Yeah,
These
it's still
Lings have
game.
killed absolutely everything.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Even though Azure's kept a lot of his
Oh my
workers still alive, but with absolutely no production, these Lings are just...
This is insane. This is like the best run by of the tournament. Killed the natural. The entire main base is in shambles. Azure is going to float an insane amount of money because he simply can't spend it anymore. He lost all of his production. This turned into a base trade in a one-way scenario where it's like, okay, you took out all my production and I didn't take out much of yours. That 5th base is going to fall as well, and I think we are looking at the beginning of the end because Azure simply doesn't have that much left anymore.
Yeah, I think he's just hanging on a little bit, kind of digesting this loss, going into the next game. What does he have to change up? GG gets
What
called.
a run by.
Crimson taking the first game.
You know what? Was there ever a sensor tower at that 4th base?
On
There
the left
w-
side, you mean?
There
Yeah,
was,
on the
there
left
was.
side.
But I think those
I thought
links
there
that
was.
On the left base. No, I don't
left
think so.
base.
On the right base, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one
No,
on the
left
third.
base. I said
But-
I
Yeah.
said they should have made
I
one.
don't think the links came from the planetary though. I think they came through the middle.
That still would have covered the middle.
No,
Yeah. No, I'm being facetious a little bit. Like that obviously probably wouldn't have like because you still have to. You don't just have to see it. You actually have to like respond to it, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that was just that was the only problem. Like his army was okay, and he just had to pay attention to it and not be distracted by a run by to have a decent
I would give a lot of
engagement.
credit to Crimson for sure. Like the moment he
yeah.
was like, I think that was a really good position that Azure was holding at the front on his like middle base.
Yeah.
And the first reaction he did was to run his links across because he knows that this push is going to take a while before he really starts pushing it in. And with that run by getting that kind of slightly lucky opportunity there and holding it out like that, I think
You should look at the mini map. I always love that because like then a fight is happening and you see like blinking in the 4th, in the 3rd, in the main. And it's
Yeah.
like pop, pop, pop. It's like, oh, why is this game so
Yeah.
stressful right now?
This is
Yeah.
a really tough loss for the Terran, in my opinion, because
Yeah.
I think that he was ahead, and I think that he knew that. He probably thought he was ahead for a different reason than we did, though, because we saw the Spire weirdness, right? Which is, by the way, like only ever used for a couple of corruptors at the end.
Yeah.
We saw the Spire weirdness. We saw like the kind of the build order being a little weird. We saw Crimson be shocked and awed, but I think Azure like thought he had a good position, and then not just that first attack where he got hit by Banelings, maybe could have been a bit better, but absolutely the one on the 5th base where that he got swamped.
Yeah,
and
but
that
he
reset his
wasn't set
momentum.
up anymore, right? I think he panicked so much because of that run by that the Liberators were not set up. A couple of
Yeah.
the tanks were on siege. Like that was just absolute worst case scenario
Yeah.
for Azure.
But I think we'd have to ask him, unfortunately.
It's this kind of scenario where even if you rally units back, there's just so many links in such
Oh,
a
yeah.
good position
Yes,
already, you
yeah.
can't do anything.
look at the mini
that
map.
was terrible.
Yeah.
This was. So, yeah, he
So
should have been sieged with
his
the
his only
Liberators.
call was to like pull it back, pull the whole army back and try to defend, but at that point it was a little bit too late.
Can you
Yeah.
also say that since he was maxed out, there's no reason for him to be there because he should not move out without Liberator range?
So he obviously like just forgot about that. I would say there was more like you shouldn't move out until you have a stronger amount of siege units, because then if something like that happens and you have 8 siege Liberators, you can actually just kind of leave it. Like obviously don't leave it entirely, but you can leave it a little bit to deal with those distractions. I suppose what happened, which was he was on siege anyway, but even if he was sieged, it wasn't a whole lot.
Yep.
But we'd have to ask him, which we might not get the chance to. But I feel like after the 5th 3rd base thing, where he lost the drop on the top and then
Yeah.
died, I think that's when he was already in his head, kind of like, oh, okay, TVZ, great, this guy has 5 bases and creep spread, now I gotta win the late game. I know a lot of Terrans that have that mentality. So I think that's where things really like momentum shifted, and then obviously the Ling run by was really bad, and it was what caused the end of the game. But I wouldn't be surprised if he isn't extremely comfortable in the super late game. Not many
Yeah.
Terrans are.
Crimson's finally back,
Yeah.
so we're gonna invite him into game soon.
I mean, it's always going to be like if you're maxed out, looks impressive, but if it's Marine Marauder and then maybe like 2 libs and a couple tanks and you're going up against 6 ultras with 3-3 and kindness, like yeah, you shouldn't be confident because you're just not winning those fights. But the moment you get 8 to 10 liberators, I feel like the tables start turning. Then suddenly it's really hard for Zerg, I think, to take proper fights. Because everyone can abduct 1 liberator or 2 liberators, but try to get good fights against like 8 of those liberation zones. It's so easy to panic and make bad decisions then.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it also was like maybe there was some overconfidence because he took a surprisingly good fight in the middle when he was a little bit surprised, but then he took that concave, remember?
Yeah.
Like right into the Zalaga. Yeah. He might have been a little like the confidence booster that made him more aggressive. Because if that doesn't happen, I feel like a lot of Terrans just do the turtle thing, right? Where they're like, okay, I'll get 5 bases and then I'll slow push, you know, very carefully push and like get a perfect army and hope that they run into me. Where he obviously was the one that was being aggressive, and that's what opened up the opportunity for the run-by. But run-bys have been Crimson's thing, man. He's good at them.
That's some really nice lemonade you got going.
It's beautiful.
Pure lemonade.
I just didn't want to get it, make it go too flat, you know?
Yeah.
You got to get it while it's still fresh. All right, we're getting ready. Crimson had some issues joining the lobby, but he has managed. And that means that it's time for game 2. That is going to be played on Nightshade. On the left top side, we're looking in the main base with the man who's down 0-1. This is the lower bracket. So his tournament live is on the line. It is Azure.
In the bottom right, as the red Zerg, he is Crimson. Finally wearing that correct color.
Kiwi. He loves them run-bys. Like every Zerg should, I guess. But not every Zerg has a playstyle like that, right? Like if I think always of Zergs like Nemchar. Yeah. I don't think I've seen Nemchar do a Zergling run-by in his life, you know? Like
that guy's so roach heavy.
Yeah, he likes roach heavy. He likes to kind of just defend, and he's really good at like splitting up his army and then sniping medevacs with Hydras and then going up to Broodlord and Fester. You know, it's like they both play Zerg, but to me the styles are like just complete polar opposites.
Yeah, like Zerglings always have that little chance to be slippery boys and just like get past some little crank in, you know, the defense, the wall and stuff like that. So when that happens, that deals so much damage, especially when your opponent is out on the map.
I think it's one of those things that feels really easy, especially as a Terran, like, you know, yelling at the Zerg. Like, yeah, I just sent up 20 lings, that's super cool. But actually, I think there's always that element of risk that is inherent in Zergling run-bys, especially, let's say, before 10 minutes even, but absolutely before 7 minutes or before 5 minutes, like the Hellions running or something like that. So, like, it seems easy, especially when it's super effective, like we saw there. But definitely don't forget, again, especially before they're maxed out, that those Zerglings are sometimes the key difference between Banelings being easily sniped and not easily sniped, right?
Yeah. I think the more I think about it, it's like I really feel the Liberator range would have made such a big difference.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
if he could have pushed forward more, he would have started harassing the Ultralisk, and Ultralisk without that link buffer, they just kind of melt to the bio. They got kited back. So that was the chance where he could have pushed forward and kind of abused the fact that so many links were missing from that fight.
And that's the thing as well why it was a bit critical, because he's a 5-base Terran and he's maxed out. Like, mate, like send a medevac to the left top side, right top side, free up some supply, get 10 more libs, and don't move out until you have lib range. Because at this point, you're fighting simply an army that's far superior to your army. Like, even if those 2 Liberators and those 2 tanks were sieged up, he's still not going to do well there. I mean, those are 3-3 Ultras with kindness and that little speed upgrade as well, which I don't know the name of. You're just not winning those fights.
I don't know the name of that either, actually.
Now I'm curious about the name for
right?
the speed upgrade.
Like, what was it?
Darn it, Roddy.
I don't remember the Lurker upgrade either, the new one.
I know that one. Oh,
there's a Seismic Spines is the range, but I don't remember the Burrow.
The Burrow is Adaptive Talents.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I keep on saying like Tumbling Claws. I'm like, that's not right. That's not it.
Lurkers with Tumbling Claws.
Oh my god. No, Jess. You know, I'm willing to deal with a lot of bullshit in this game, okay? But that's where I draw the line.
Do you guys remember they were going to have, what was it, like, no, it wasn't, like, they were going to have Ultra.
With a dive.
They were going to have the charge, but they were also thinking of moving underneath something else, and I forget what it was.
No, that was the charge. Basically, if Ultras, like, they would be able to charge, they would dive underneath the ground, and then it would pop up.
It'll pop up in front of you.
Yeah, it's in co-op now, but I thought there was something else they were going to do. Maybe I've just forgotten, but it was like back in like the beta.
Do you play co-op?
Not enough. No.
Not enough?
Not enough.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm behind schedule.
I definitely would want some time. Man, I haven't even finished the campaign.
No,
I'm one of those guys. Like, I just keep playing like the 1v1s and never got around to the best part of StarCraft. I would say.
Do you know what my favorite campaign level of all time was? It was actually the one that had very little to do with StarCraft. It was in Wings of Liberty, like level 7 or 8.
Was it a trivia game?
No, where you had all 3 heroes. So you're basically playing MOBA with 3 heroes. You know.
Oh, that's a choice.
I remember that.
What?
I remember that.
I don't think you actually have to do that.
Oh,
That's
I think
when you choose between the Nidus Worm and the Brood Lords to face in the final mission.
I think it's a zombie thing. Like I think I had to kill a lot of zombies. I had to kill, like my 3 little Jim Raynor, a medic, and an engineer or something that could throw down turrets.
Yeah.
And he killed all this. That was so fun.
That's either the
That
one
exists?
where you
That
choose
exists?
or
You
it's
kill
the
zombies?
secret
Okay.
mission.
Yeah, no, that's like.
So there's Outbreak, which is the one where you deal with the infestation at night.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a co-op mission.
Okay.
But that's not what he's talking about. But you do face off against zombies in what he's talking about.
Yeah, I just like it. Just remember, it's towards the end of
Yeah.
the Wings of Liberty
Yeah.
campaign. That
I'm
was
like-
really fun.
I'm here
I think I'm
listening.
right.
He's like slowly on. He's like, "Oh, this is the campaign mission where you play as JF Kennedy and you're just killing off zombies." That doesn't really sound like StarCraft, buddy.
No, but that might be why like other people are like, "What mission is that?" Because I think that was someone you don't
Yeah.
technically have to play, but
Oh, that sounds fun though.
it was, yeah. It's also, I think it might be the better choice too. I think it's where you take out the Nidus Worms, but either way.
We've got a medevac this time. With
And an
yeah.
armory. That's probably the most important thing.
Oh, all right.
This didn't really work out because I think that Viking is supposed to scare away the Overlords, and then this is supposed to kind of catch
Well,
Crimson off guard. But
no,
that
it's-
Viking just died.
Like, if you can get the Hellion drop, that's cool, like the actual Hellion damage, but you can also turn them into Hellbats now.
Yeah, because he has a couple of Hellions at the front as well, so that's been keeping the Lynx at the front too.
Well, they're
So
gonna
they're
dive in. Let's just
diving
take a look at
Jesus.
these bad boys
Oh,
because I
God.
think they have a lot more potential. Well,
Nothing.
Did he free pull? No, he just didn't have that many drones.
Baited. Oh, but they turn into Hellbats.
split
so
your
because of
helmets.
that
Split your
outbreak-
helmets, mate. Those banelings are about to finish up. You gotta split them.
Is
Don't.
Crimson just dead?
No.
Like, where? He doesn't have enough
No.
heat to take
He's
out
not.
Hellbats.
Keeps one alive and is dealing some damage, and the
think
Hellions
he's
at the
fine.
natural
Hellbats.
killing off some
Actually-
drones as well. Oh, he
Jesus.
stacked those ones up.
I'll take it all back. He's
Yeah,
not
no,
fine.
he also turns into Hellbats. Like, he'll kill, like, so many things,
I
but...
guess
Yeah, but
Still
I actually
kill a
like
couple
keeping
more?
them in heli mode like this. If he gets the
Yeah.
right shots off, I know he misfired twice, but that's a good one. 17 drones have gone down. Azure has created a 19 worker advantage for himself. This could have been worse if he splits those Hellbats.
Yeah.
Like one Hellbat here, one Hellbat here, one Hellbat here. Yeah, what are 3
Nidus
banelings going to do?
Worm. That's a desperate Nidus Worm.
Yeah, and he's not even up in army supply, so that's
But-
not a good sign.
Nonetheless,
drones.
he's still in a very good position after that.
Still
As
Nidus
you are,
Worm
of course.
drones.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Canceled it, and then he's rebuilding it.
Crimson,
no.
Crimson feels like he's a little bit behind here, so I think he's trying to go for some desperate strategy
I
on
think
the
it's
end.
more than a little bit, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, to say the least.
He's like, man, I'm supposed to run a marathon tomorrow, and I just broke 2 of my knees. Like, I don't know if you can break a knee, but he tears meniscus. Okay.
But this is the thing about this was it was one of my favorite strategies, but most of the time it's done in late game TVZ, where like the player flies a flock of mutas in and then starts a Nidus Worm and outpours like shit tons of banelings and it just kills all
Yeah,
the
that's
Marines
super
off.
cool.
That-
But that's a
pretty
little bit
cool,
of a,
but-
like, I'm
yeah.
styling on my opponent kind of stuff.
But not
Like
in this
TLO
case.
does that.
Oh, and here comes even more Hellions.
That's a
cleaning
good
up.
wraparound, though.
That's gonna be
Banelings! Should have been better.
Oh, and a
Should've
very
been
good
better.
choke point as well. These Hellions are
Oh
really
no,
getting there.
like those final shot. Alright, here we go. I think this is it. Crimson really wants to win the game.
He has the army
He
supply
see-
now.
He didn't see the
Azure, you've got
Nidus.
Cyclones,
Oh,
mate.
no.
Azure, come on. You can't lose this game.
I don't think he should have sacrificed those Hellions, man.
Okay, that Liberate is going to go down as well. This can actually get very ugly. Azure is going to give up Macfield Accelerator. I don't think that's going to finish up. I mean, you need
Yeah.
Hellions to deal with all these links. That's so many links, and at this point, Cyclone is going to start working on the
Banelings,
Queen.
more banelings.
Transfuse, mate. Transfuse. That's a big loss, because that one had a lot of energy as well.
He needs more Banelings.
Where are the rest of his units?
Second Nidus.
Oh, there we go.
Banelings, Banelings,
Oh, that would have been so sick.
Yeah, he's still. I think he should be making a lot more Banelings. He doesn't have a lot of gas though.
Yeah,
no,
he's not unloading most of his units. I don't know what he's waiting for, probably on the natural, but
Yeah, it's been
he's
too-
digging
it's
his
been
own
too
grave
much.
by,
Yeah.
by waiting.
where are his... There we finally have it on the natural, but
No,
he
it's
should
too
be
many units
engaging
now.
this in the main base, especially with so many SUVs on the middle line. A couple of Banelings would just really clean house here.
He wasted way too much time because there were no Hellions. He really had to just get in there immediately. And like the longer you wait, the worse it's going to get, right? Because these
Yeah.
mech units are going to start popping out one by one. Azure had almost nothing, and now suddenly I look at an army that's never going to die. I think this is it, man. I think Crimson is super dead. I think Azure has won.
Yeah.
Wait, did he lose the orbital?
Whoa, did he?
What? How did he
Whoa, what?
lose- Okay.
Okay.
But there is another orbital.
Yeah, he does have a third.
I still think
Yeah,
Azure
he
is
does have a
super dead, but now Azure actually has 0
Or-
cast. What is happening?
Yeah, Crimson's still on 29 workers.
Yeah.
So
Go
let
back
us not
in the
lose sight of
main.
that.
Because
Oh,
he's
this
been
is it.
pulling...
This is it. Can the Lynx win it?
If they had a couple Banelings, I think they might have actually had a chance there. The Banelings take out the Hellbats. Cyclones don't do so hot against Lings, but the Hellions actually are still alive towards the end.
I feel like Azure is doing his best in making this close, but
it's
still
yeah,
not
right?
close.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll give the casters something to be hyped about.
Thanks,
Mate,
man.
we know you've won, okay?
And the more Nidus Worms you throw down nowadays, it gets even worse because they're costing a little bit more, and well, on such a small economy, it just really piles up as well.
Yeah.
So
He's
less
gonna go
Banelings
into
for him.
Spire. I don't know,
about
man.
that one.
Do we have some Hellions here? Yes, we do. The tank could actually kill a lot of units here. Not the right ones, I mean. Could have killed like 2 Cyclones and a Hellion. That would have been a very painful shot. If Azure just needs to keep building stuff and start rallying to the other side of the map. Like that's the... Mate, you can land here.
I'd be careful about rallying to the side of the map because you can't afford Hellions right now.
Well, if he just has 1 Cyclone at home to deal with the Nidus, I really think you should though, because I mean,
well,
obviously you could say that's something he doesn't know, but it's literally 2 army supply.
Oh yes, yeah, you are right about that. But he would be fearful of just like 10 Lings coming out. So the supply block was pretty brutal.
But like what I mean is, well, like you leave 1 Cyclone at home and then a wall off. Like I don't think like 10 Lings are gonna kill his army in the middle of the map.
They're gonna kill the Cyclones.
Yeah, but I mean, he has like 3-4 Hellions.
Well, now he does. I only saw 2 initially, but the point is, like, you're going to be wary that they're going to have Lings, and your Cyclones are already damaged, not even being repaired, so... It's scary to go across the map, even though you're right, and he would have absolutely won. Crimson is banking on that as well, like he's taking a bet here, and he's going to try and tech up, while also trying to get to somewhat of an economy. But it's so slow, and mutas that don't come out in full force really quickly don't do so hot against Cyclone styles.
I actually think if you're Crimson, you need to roll the dice here and just build 20 drones and be like,
yeah.
really hope he doesn't.
Yeah,
hope he doesn't move out.
Yeah.
Because like building mutas of 40 drones, I feel like at this point you're digging your own grave. Macfield Accelerator is done. Like good luck, have fun with your mutas.
Exactly. He's gonna match those mutas almost 1-to-1 with Cyclones, and like in that scenario, you can chase them for days and they'll just be sniped instantly.
You're spot on, mate. It's
Yeah,
fine.
literally.
Yeah.
Back call all in. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. They really don't do well. It should have been drones first, and then, like, as soon as you think they might push out, that's when you build, like, hopefully 20 mutas. And they haven't gotten enough Cyclones. But now you also played your hand here. You're not going to get as many SCVs as you would want anyways.
Oh,
That's
he
a good
tried
idea.
those Banes. Where are those Banes?
Such a good idea.
He's distracting him right now. Wait.
Oh, he should have tried. He should have definitely tried. Oh, there we go. Look at the range on those boys.
Yep.
He runs those. Yeah. I was gonna say he was gonna do that move right there with the mutas against and the Banelings coming out of Nidus, but you can't really do this against a non-marine base force here.
He's still not making drones.
Alright, if the links around these Cyclones and then the 2 Banelings kill 24 SCVs, I might become a believer.
There are like 2 tanks on the high ground, I think. 1. Okay, okay.
One.
Might have a chance to pull that off.
Crimson is still dead. He just built his units like too soon. He was already dead, so I don't want to fault him for it. But sometimes you just really have to close your eyes and be like, hey, I hope he doesn't attack me. I'm going to make 20 drones and then I can turn this into a game. Right now, this is just not fair. Azure is so much richer than Crimson is. I mean, these mutas are just getting obliterated. The Banelings are going to get obliterated as well. And GG will be called. Azure is going to tie things up. And that means that we are going to the decider match.
That got a little scrappy, right? Like, that was a bit of a blip when the orbital went down. It was suddenly like a maybe. I'm wondering if Crimson thought that he actually had a chance to end the game, and that's why he kept making units. Because he was like, oh, he can't be producing that much. He doesn't have a third base, which we knew that he did.
I think it was kind of consistent with how he tried to pull out a Nidus. Like, he didn't think like, oh, if I try to make more drones and try to come back in the long term. He wasn't thinking about that. He was just thinking, okay, short term, what can I do to try to win or try to come back? It's doing damage, and sometimes that's not really the answer, especially when you know your opponent's got a lot of units going.
I think what you said, Jess, was spot on. After he killed the next wave of Hellions, I think that was his only chance for Crimson, is just get in there with those links, because there were no Hellions. So, I mean, it would have been so sick if like 4 Banelings pop out. TLO would have done it, obviously. But like, you can actually fight Cyclones so well with links, right? Like, even if there is a SimCity, who cares? You need to go now. You're 25 workers behind. You're basically a base behind. You need to go now. And like, he just waited a little bit too long, because even 3 Hellions make all the difference in the world.
The fact that it was a desperate Nidus Swarm really, I think, played into it too. Because I think if it's a planned Nidus Swarm, you actually put in 12, 15 Banelings. And those Banelings, you know, crash into the Hellvats, like I was saying, it does pretty well. But he also just didn't have enough Banelings to, I think, really influence things. I keep imagining if he had twice as many Banelings.
He wrote in the chat, by the way, he's like, and yes, guys, I know. I missed those Banelings coming out of the Nidus in the natural. So he was apparently thinking about it. I mean, we can't all be TLO, let's be honest, mate. It's all good. Let's get ready for the decider match that is once again going to be played on Ephemeron. I feel like slowly but steady. Ephemeron is becoming like the new how was the map called again? Overwatch? No, not Overwatch. Overgrowth. Frost, you know, like the default map in a best of 3.
Daybreak.
Daybreak, obviously. You know, what else was like a real staple? King Sejong Station. I think at one point it was like part of every single series.
That was the map.
Yeah.
I think Overgrowth was the worst though. Oh, and Catalyst as well. Like, everyone was playing Catalyst all the time.
Oh yeah, that's right. I kind of forgot about that one. I was
Yeah.
thinking Dusk Towers. I always hated that that map was played
Yeah.
often. It was really boring.
There was another one that looked exactly like Dust Towers. Like they were part of the
Proxima
same.
Station?
Yeah, I think that's what it was called. I like both actually, because I mean I like building carriers. both,
Oh, okay, fair
both
enough.
those maps are good.
Okay, well, that's very different then. All right. Game number 3 in the bottom right is the red Zerg. He is Crimson.
And on the top left-hand corner, we have in the blue trunks, it is our turn, Azure.
I will play Castle Chicken with you any day of the week, mate. I'll just stare you down. I was like, are you ever gonna say something, Blisk?
We're
What
just having
up?
like a face-off here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, the one time I played Caster Chicken, I got in so much trouble.
With who?
In Control. I was on WCS cast, and he
Okay.
was like, "You gonna do Caster Chicken? You wanna do that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." And then after like 30 seconds of silence, he was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna let you throw away your career like that. I'll talk first." we both got yelled at.
Nice guy, Joe.
Really? By Mark or? Adrian?
Carrie.
Oh, really? Carrie yelled?
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but that's, you know.
It must not
that
have been
happen?
that bad, right? It must have been like.
No, he was really serious, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Wow.
he was. He like brought me out in the hallway. I felt like I was a kid at school again, and I was about to get
You're
detention.
in trouble.
Yeah,
What are you
exactly.
doing? How could you do it?
You know what's really funny? Because I have the feeling that this is super like unethical these days. But when I went to elementary school, right, and if I did something bad, the teacher would be like, "Go stand in the corner with your nose into the corner," and you had to stand there for like 10 minutes, you know, with your back towards the class. I feel like that would never happen these days anymore.
You think so? I think
Yeah.
that's okay. I think the holding the buckets of water won't happen anymore.
The what?
You ever seen that?
No.
You ever seen that? That's like popular, I think, in like Japanese like comics and stuff, where they go out in the hallway and they hold 2 buckets of water for 10 minutes.
Until like the water runs out in the buckets.
No, they just hold it, and it's like it's like really, really
So
tiring.
I heard hole in the bucket of water.
Hold.
I was like, wow, that is some like, yeah, that's some next level tormenting.
Yeah, no, it's like a lot. I think it's 10 minutes because it gets like really hard really quickly,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
yeah,
You know,
There
You
are
also have to
Chinese
ride,
ones.
like-
The Chinese ones are like you squat without the chair, like against the wall, and you hold it there for like 1 or 2 minutes,
Wow.
something like that. Yeah.
I mean, to be
Getting
honest, that's an
workouts.
exercise, you know? Like,
Yeah, getting
teachers
workouts.
just helping.
I never got in trouble in school, so I didn't have to do anything.
I got in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I wasn't too bad though. I was kind of like the sweet boy, but then every now and then I would do something that the teachers would get very upset about.
I feel like you're the kind of kid who like rallies people in to do dumb
Oh
shit.
no, not at all.
No, not at all?
I was a quiet boy in elementary school. Once upon a time, this is like my favorite moment of like 8 years of elementary school, right?
I love.
How do you
story
call
time.
these things? What teachers used to write on chalkboards? You know?
Chalk.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
So basically, like, our teacher had a super bad day, right? And she was just going on this tantrum. It's like, nobody's paying attention, nobody's listening. And she's like, can nobody give me the answer to this? Because the question was written on the chalkboard. And then suddenly she's like, I was like just staring outside of the window, you know, I just really wasn't paying attention to the tantrum. And she grabs the chalk and she just threw it at my head, like across like 10 meters. And it like just flew past, like it kind of hit my ear, you know, and it hit the wall. She's like, Kevin, aren't you so smart? What is the answer? And I said what I thought was the answer. She's like, no. And then she went around the class, right? And eventually, like, nobody knew it, so she kept on screaming. And she's like, the answer was 67. And I look up, I was like, I'm pretty damn sure I said that. And then, like, everyone looks at me. And then it's like, teacher, that's what Kevin said. She's like, oh, did you? I was like, yeah. She's like, fine. I was like, yeah, I am that smart. Like, because he literally used the line, I thought you were so smart. And then I was that
You
smart.
were smart, yeah.
All right, guys, we've got 7 roaches on the way, 10 roaches even. Vindicta mentioned, by the way, if you open up with 8 Hellions, it's hard to hold. We don't have 8 Hellions here. There's a lot of surface area on this command center. Oh, I love
Ooh,
that.
that
He's
can
also
be really
nibbling at the
brutal.
SUV.
Where are the Hellions?
They're being brought home.
Okay, yeah. So this command center
Oh,
will
this is
hold.
great. This is. You think so?
Yeah.
I feel like he should definitely have. Oh, the Hellions will come
Yeah,
back.
yeah, they
okay.
weren't too far by.
But do the Hellions know about all those
So that's
roaches?
what exactly what they wanted was the last possible second for the Hellions
Wait.
come back. So the last possible second to see the roaches. So that worked out pretty well for that. He's also not going for a tank as
no,
fast
he's
as he
losing
could
it.
have,
Liberator.
but he is going for a tank. So I think Azure is going to be fine.
I think Azure is going to be more than fine, especially basic logic is that Crimson has 500 minerals in the bank. No all-in can ever be very effective or good if you go up against an evenly matched opponent with that many minerals in the bank. Also losing drones at home Oh no, man! I think
It
Crimson is
basically
in a
means
lot of
that
trouble.
something is inefficient within your build, whether you're building the roaches too slow
Yeah.
or something like that.
Oh,
something
he's
He
an
doesn't have a
overlord.
spotter on the high ground. This is
over
huge.
here, but
Yeah, it's one of the south as well. He realizes his mistake. He's going to go for it now. That's going to give time for a second tank to pop out, but actually they're not building
he's
one.
building 18
There we
more
go.
drones, guys. He's really committing.
Yeah.
I don't see this ever working. Really good job, of course, by Azure sniffing this out, having the right responses. The
Finally
Liberator.
gets some vision on the top, and he's gonna snipe the tank there. That's super important, but the bunker's already up, and another tank is just on the way. He's got 2 bunkers behind his command center as well. He can lift at any time,
Oh,
and
the
it's just
panic
soaking
drone.
damage at this point.
Panic drone joins in the army as well. It's like, I am here, guys. I'll be leading the charge. Those corrosive balls have potential. They were good, but he needs a lot more than that. Okay, he's gonna try to transition. Let's say he kills 15 more SCVs.
15?
Yeah.
I think you're being very optimistic.
No,
here.
that's what I think he needs.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying
There
he's
we
gonna
go.
get it, but that's what he needs. Hey, with those corrosive balls.
Oh,
He could get that
possible.
tank.
They're very far in front though, so I feel like he could just
Yeah,
try to
like
snipe
that.
1 or 2.
Just don't
Every
drop
now and
them all at once. Drop one here, one here, one here. Make it hard for Azure.
He's been trying to get this supply depot, but for some reason it's just a little inch off every single time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he is droning behind
Kill the
this.
tank and then go for the south side bunker and then try to kill as many
Yeah.
SCVs as possible. I think that's the play. Okay, actually gets the bunker in the front. Corrosive ball will finish it up, but there's 3 more bunkers. He needs more SCVs. Well, actually, whoa! Whoa!
Yeah, he's been droning
He's
behind
been
this.
droning like mad. Now, this number is a bit deceiving, guys, because he was severely outmined for a while. But suddenly, I mean, sure, the lair just finished up, so it's quite late. Obviously, it doesn't have a tier 2 building yet, but okay, a 17 worker advantage. This is not an orbital yet.
Yeah. I think, like, this wasn't as clean as it really should
Wow.
have been from Azure. Like, having the tank on the high ground was already, like, that was a good idea, but it wasn't far enough back, so it wasn't a good idea. In fact, an Overlord would have been there for, like, the best third players in the world. So that was the first mistake, and then, like, very clumsy use of his SCVs. If Crimson had not made those, like, 12 lings when you mentioned it,
The
and had
18,
already started
18.
droning there.
Yeah.
Oh, 18, there you
Yeah.
go. Then I think he's, like, actually super far ahead. And now, you know, it's actually still pretty good, even without doing that. So
Yeah,
going
I-
the roaches.
I really think that Azure needs to get damage with his first 2 medevacs. Stim is obviously done, Combat Shield is on the way, but he needs to get something done, man. This is not a scenario where he can just sit back forever, I think. Like, being down 10, 15 workers is not that bad, but he's down over 20 workers.
And we've seen how Crimson takes his late games as well. He's pretty solid on defending things every here and there. But
Yes.
the thing is, he is going for roaches this time.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to bring up. I feel like he's less good when it comes to the roach stuff. I feel like he
Yeah.
panics a little bit early. He's like, okay, let's attack again into, like, you know, better upgraded bio units, because that's the one thing that Azure does have. I think if
I'm-
this was a Ling Bane scenario, I'd be like, oh, this is not
Yeah.
good. But
I mean, stylistically, it is huge because Hydralisk can help you kill off those medevacs. And when you don't have something that's anti-air and that's solid in killing off medevacs, I think Terrans tend to want to drop more.
Yeah.
So they're more, yeah, they can get more aggressive for sure.
Yeah. Personally, I find like roaches to be just easier to size up. So in that regard, I like it feels a bit easier to face off against them.
Yep.
But in another regard, like as a Zerg perspective, I think roaches, especially if you have a decent number, which he does now.
he's
with
just
up to
going to,
4
like,
drones.
1-1 roach attack, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. He's also gonna have upgrades like that. Then it actually gets less snowbally. Like if you mess up with your Banelings with Ling Baneling against a drop, you can do what we've seen today. Roaches, not so much.
I think this drop can win the game. Not right now, but when the roaches move out.
Yeah, if
Thus,
they. Yeah, I agree.
He doesn't really
Um,
have a spotter to
Just chill.
Like,
Like,
take
I honestly
notes
think
of-
you
yeah.
can just chill with this medevac. The most important thing is that you have some bunkers as
Yes,
well.
Sim City right here
Yeah.
is going to be really big. He's starting to build some supply depots on the right
Oh,
side,
you
but he
need
also
bunkers,
needs something
mate.
on the left side to at least spot.
I love this, by the way, that he's not committing with it yet. He's like, I'm going to wait until I be attacked, which is the right call. I got to say, though, army supply, it's starting to look a tiny bit dicey. Obviously, 20 supplies on the other side of the map as well. He's going to try now. I
That's a
think-
good timing.
Yes, because... he thought about it. He's like, oh,
in
no.
the middle of the map
Wait,
there.
where are they?
That's really good though, because
It
then he can
forces
still
him
save
to
the
pull
medevacs and he
everything
bot
back.
time.
Yep, and he's buying. Like, I know 2-2 just started, but there is a chance that it comes into play. And 2-2 Bio does absolutely fantastic against 1-1 roaches. This is already some really good damage. Kill that roach one.
Yeah, just get out of there.
But yeah, just as long
yeah.
as you... No.
Yeah, for sure. Right there alone, I think.
This drop is so
dro-
annoying.
How many drones? You think?
What?
Oh, nah, never mind. 10 drones.
Yeah. I mean,
My
I'd love
bad
to play
again.
the guessing game with you, but the answer is on the left side, man. Like,
Here I was, just staring on the right side of the screen only.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said,
No,
like
no, no, no,
Crimson
no,
seems
no,
like
no, this is not necessary,
He's not
mate.
thinking about it. I don't
Yep.
think he's actually thinking that it's going to be a 1-1 roach island, even though it's a very common follow-up.
send
He's
it
just
back.
not thinking.
mate, you don't need to do this. You need to defend. Okay, that's what he realizes. Well, this can still drop. This is totally fine here. You can still drop it. Here you just need to defend. 2-2 upgrades more than halfway done. Don't eat corrosive biles with your bio units. And I think, oh, that's a lot of roaches and ravages. Crimson is getting right on top of it. Obviously, there's
He's
way
missing.
more Terran coming from the south side.
Yeah, I
Jeez
think his
Louise.
bios haven't been hitting perfect. They should have definitely be killing way more tanks at this point already. Those first two
Yeah.
tanks definitely should have gone down to the bios, but a little missed target firing here. He's trying to clean up the drops here, but this drop might just get the 4, and it does.
This drop is winning the game, man. It really
Wow,
is.
you called it.
Yeah, no, the
Maybe-
drop was perfect.
Maybe your teacher was right. You are smart, Kevin.
Yeah.
You.
Well, if she saw the next 20 years of my life, she would disagree. But on that day, I was.
Well, the double medevac drop to the right side also came back to get like a sandwich.
Yep, and that's the right play.
Yeah, it was really nice. The corrosive biles were missed. They were whiffed. The 2 tanks got at least 2 more shots than they should have.
Yeah.
And there was. I also just want to give credit to the Terran before putting it on Crimson. The Terran also had really well spread out tanks, so that if he
Yeah.
realized he wasn't winning, he could go back to a high ground tank and still take somewhat of a trade while doing the drop. So that was really nice. And now 2-2 is going to finish for him faster. He's going to adapt to the Roach style as well with double tanks and a couple Marauders, and I think he's got this game. His 4th base was not cancelled, I believe, so that was a loss of 400 minerals.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's going to be okay with that, man. 2-2 bio.
And they're even on workers, and when you have this situation, Terran obviously starts mining way more because of mules. So simple things like that, like he's gonna slowly but surely start edging his opponent out in the game and this drop still hasn't gone down. I like corrosive biles. Whoa!
That's the alert, man. That's the alert that you consider attack.
I learned something new this weekend.
Yeah. Super nice. I'm surprised you haven't had that with oracles or your Phoenix.
Oh, I don't. Well, because I always look at my Phoenix. I
Oh,
treat
of
them like my
course.
children, just.
They're never almost under attack.
I
And
mean,
he's gonna
whoever
clean
makes a
up
Ravager against my Phoenix is super dead anyway. So.
That's true.
You know what I love about Azure is that he always starts one upgrade. It's like this time he's forgetting about
Oh,
the
that's
tank.
the worst one to get, though.
Yeah, I know, but I still think it's gonna be okay. Obviously, that is an important one, but you're working with just roaches if you're Crimson here, and
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't know. Get a couple Vipers.
Going up to Hive, you think Vipers is the key? I think he should still get Banelings though, right?
Should you get what?
Banelings?
Yes,
Why
yeah,
not?
I think he has no upgrades for that. He doesn't even
Oh,
have a
that's true,
Baning
that's
nest. I mean,
It-
I don't disagree, but I just don't know, man. I think you're hoping for Vipers here so you can abduct and Blinding Cloud.
I was
the
gonna
thing is,
say.
Azure isn't getting Marauders at all, so he's still going on Mass Marines. But
He's-
I don't know how much that helps. in this
He's getting
situation.
one Marauder
Or
at a time,
5
which is
Marauders.
less than I expected, but he will add 3 tech labs to these barracks.
Okay.
So eventually he'll have a lot of Marauders. I think, I was just about to say, Crimson should start upgrading for late game, including that melee, so I'm glad to see he starts melee. And I think he should add some Banelings, because they add a complexity to taking on armies that doesn't exist for just pure Roach Ravager.
He has no Baning speed.
If he doesn't have Baneling speed, then I think it's a waste.
Yeah.
But
And
we'll
he doesn't
see.
have upgrades. I think these upgrades are definitely very important, like considering the Terran has +3 first before the plus 3
Oh, man, please get
attack.
Baning speed. If you get Baning speed, it gets exciting because Azure is indeed super heavy on the Marines. So I think actually, no matter the circumstance, I think you're right, Blisk. If somebody has 80 Marines, you may as well try because Banelings are a comeback unit, right? They are capable of creating some magic in some
Even
scenarios.
maybe
but
Burrow Banelings. I
Yeah.
think that would be pretty
Oh,
cool.
I mean,
wish.
for my part, you get Dropper Lords and drop them top of the army, you know, but just get Baneling speed, please.
What's with the 9 spores?
He's going, he wants to be creative with the
Oh.
206 supply.
I thought he had enough supply. I was wrong. 3
Cheater.
Vipers take more than I thought.
Yeah.
Cheater.
There we go.
Please get Baning speed.
Yeah, I really want to get Baneling speed. I actually think that Banelings make this so much more complicated.
Boom, boom, boom.
That was good. Medevac, can a tank.
Oh, and he's trying to push up here, but Crimson's army is definitely super scary here on the high ground. Like,
All right.
it's going to be hard to engage. With those Vipers, would definitely help a little bit.
You guys want to hear the play?
Yeah.
Blinding Cloud behind the Terran army, so you A-click and it runs into the Banelings.
It'd be more threatening with Baneling speed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's getting
He
it.
finally
But
notices.
I agree. That drop, by the
Oh,
way,
but
took
this
on like
drop.
12 roaches.
Yeah, of course.
It was pretty
He needs
insane.
to send some roaches
Two
back.
Medevacs and Marines are pretty damn good. 56 links are on the way. I mean, you gotta wait for Baneling speed now, right? Unless you land the sickest Binding Cloud ever.
Oh, maybe not move them forward so
No,
fast.
no, don't take the fight. What? No, he didn't even do that. No.
I don't think he
That's
realized
so
there was
many
a fight
Marines,
there.
though.
Here's the alert, yes?
It will.
What's happening? He's going to try to do another speedling run by here towards the middle of the map, maybe probably
but
to the fort, but yeah. units
0-2
here.
or yeah, I
Ready.
guess it's 1-2 is a lot less threatening than 3-3 and then Renock lands, right? Like
Yeah,
those
for
are
sure.
the Zerglings that really end games. Waiting. He's trying to set up the biggest concave. All the tanks are unsieged, actually, but the banelings are still slow. Where is that blinding cloud? Drop it here. This is the spot.
Blinding out. Oh, he prioritizes the tanks here, and his flank is actually doing some work.
Slow
Banelings
banelings.
connect to the Marines, but it seems like he might just barely not have
These
enough.
Marines are too
Still
strong,
Marine
man.
and Marauders going through with those 3-3 upgrades.
Yep.
And there we go. GG. Azure
GG.
secures himself to move on to the next round.
Turns it around, down 0-1 after a very, I think, difficult game for him on Triton. He was able to stay calm and composed, was able to deal with the shenanigans on Nightshade, and then closes it out with a couple of really good holds here on Ephemeron. Go ahead,
I'm
join
kidding.
us, mate. All right, Lisk is going to make some space. I keep sitting on... Do I have the wrong microphone? I guess that's what's happening over here. Either way can work, mate. Like, you can either spin it like on this side, or you can go through the other side.
Yeah,
and
but
then
what if I don't like it?
No, but this is perfect. This is the professional way. 'Cause
Yeah.
now
It
when
is.
you
Yeah.
look at us, we see more of your beautiful face.
Hello.
Hello, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think that was a pretty sick series. Let's start off with the first game.
Uh-huh.
Obviously a tough one. Where do you think it all went wrong for you on Triton?
I think I just didn't trade well enough. And over time, I just kind of started losing. Made some bad plays. That's
I
pretty
mean,
much it.
Little ambitious with the Hellions here, because they were almost surrounded on creep, and then you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying again.
Always got to try again.
Did you realize that he didn't scout the fusion core?
I realized when I saw like no queens in the main.
Yeah.
Before that, I didn't realize he hadn't seen it because he went overlord speed.
Yeah, he always
So I
did.
kind of thought he would have.
This is an odd question, but can you remember at what point you were confident and what point you weren't confident in this game? Because there's a lot of weird points where I feel like you could have told yeah, he didn't have the battlecruiser prepared, so you might have thought that you were ahead,
Yeah.
and then this happened, so you might have thought that you were behind.
I think I just kind of.
I think here
I
you
felt
really
like
messed up.
felt like I was ahead before like every attack, and then every
Okay.
attack went really badly.
I mean, this was obviously super awkward, right? Because like
Yeah.
he had like 25 supplies stuck in medevacs by the beginning of that
Yeah,
battle.
yeah, yeah.
So you just have to do a few
Yeah,
too
just
many
a
things.
lot of bad control before fights.
I
taking
think
off
also, do you realize you never got Liberator range in this game?
Yeah, I never really got to that point.
Oh, you were maxed out at one
Yeah,
point. Maybe we
yeah.
can
Like
take a look at the
I
final-
I made the extra starports and I was like maxed, and I was too busy attacking to like go back, get liberator range.
You know it's in the
etc.
fusion core, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Do
think
you,
that helps.
Do you usually still stay aggressive against a Zerg who you must have? Did you know that he was going to be maxed out with a decent amount of creep spray?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I think you have to. You have to
Yeah.
like push back the creep. You have to trade.
So
like
you feel the
this-
pressure to do that?
Yeah, this fight was like okay.
Surprisingly
Yeah, it
good.
was.
Because it was a bit of an anti-timing for him.
Yeah,
He had no speed
yeah.
on the ultras, and his 3-3 just wasn't really ready
Yeah,
yet. So I think
but then
that's-
like I just don't have the transition ready.
yeah, but this was obviously, this was not even a fight
Yeah,
because everything was
no.
on siege.
I was
right?
trying to get back because there was the Ling run by.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
kind of
killed-
lost me the game.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was like for me, it was more of a question of like, did you really feel like you had to be there in the first place instead of just turtling a bit more on 5 bases and waiting for lib range?
I don't know. I feel like it's scary just kind of turtling. Maybe
Yeah, of
maybe I should
course.
have been like have a bit more faith in my economy.
Yeah.
Because I think economically I was actually in a good position.
No, you were. You were maxed out and you had some money in the
Yeah,
bank.
I had a big bank. I should have just like.
I
you know,
like my suggestion
more
was
libs.
maybe like one drop towards the main, one drop right up side, free up some supply, get
Yeah,
some more
yeah.
liberators, and get lib range. Because then I think you can create an army that can actually fight all those ultras.
Yeah.
Yeah. This game is kind of wonky. This turns into a Nidus all-in. So obviously you're feeling pretty good about killing all these drones.
Yeah.
And you have safety Hellions back because you're going for mech, which is nice. What'd you think about the Nidus swarm that popped up?
I freaked out a little
You
bit.
did? Yeah.
A little bit. I pulled every SCV because I was like, you know, oh, I should probably do this, and then I saw like 3 banelings pop out of it. I was like, okay,
You know.
send them back, send them back.
Yeah, there's an opportunity for that at that like location, which I guess you realized, but
Yeah.
he was as you can see he's on 29 workers. That wasn't we didn't think it was going to do very much, and then so like there was one chance it was due. I guess we should put it that way. There was one chance it was going to do something, and that was the very beginning. So after
Yeah.
like 20 seconds, you probably felt like you were okay.
This is one of those games where I feel like it's really hard in the moment to know quite
Yeah.
where you are, especially because like unless you're at the top level, you know, you will play players who will do this, but behind it they've made another like 30 drones. They're on they're on
Yeah.
like 4 bases. They've got 60 drones and they're still doing this Nidus shit. And then you'll play players who
Yeah,
are sitting on 29 drones, and you're actually winning, but it's hard to tell.
You know, I know exactly what you're talking about because I have some of those games where you get Nidus 3 minutes and 40 seconds in, and then like lose a bunch of probes. I was like, this is playable, I've got the
Yeah.
void ray out, and then it happens again, and then the next one's a bit later. I was like, that's kind of weird because he should know that I can defend it right now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I think this is pretty good. And then it's like 4 base, 8 queens, 2 spores per base. I was like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
why am I even in this game?
90 supply
Yeah.
of Hydras walks up to one of your bases. What's up?
I know the feeling exactly, mate. Anyway, congratulations. I think it feels like you two were very evenly matched, right? Has that historically been the case?
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, we've been pretty back and forth. Obviously, it kind of depends who's playing when. I don't
Sure.
think either of us have been like 100% playing the whole time over the past like 2 or 3 years. So it kind of depends where everyone's at. I think right now it does feel pretty even, yeah.
Yeah, so that must feel extra good, right, to get one of those close competitive victories in the
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah, it did. I think he improved a lot as well from like the group stage.
I mean, he took a map of Vindicta in the
Yeah,
first one.
yeah, he did well.
Obviously,
Yeah.
had a good start in that game, but who do you play next? Do you know already?
I play the loser of Seether and
No.
Future and Pig Junior.
Pig Junior. Yeah, I was gonna ask you, what do you think about Seether being in the losers bracket already?
I didn't see those games, and I heard the whole situation where we had to swap PCs.
Yeah.
Hello.
That's all right. I'm just a big fan of my boy Crikey.
Yeah, I see that.
He needed a hug for that win.
So I thought maybe like one of the games of that series had happened. So I was like, what's the score? And they were like 2-0. I was like, oh, okay, Sheldon just 2-0. Nah, Pig Junior.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
I was going in the beginning of the day. I was like trying to like build the story. I was like, I actually think like Pig Junior played. He looked really good to me in the group stage, and I was like, I know he's the underdog there, but I think there's maybe some potential for an upset.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to 2-0 him.
He's
though.
a very aggressive player, so I feel like at times he can just suddenly win a series
Pig-
versus
Pig Junior?
Pig Junior.
I actually felt like he was.
Well, in
Has he-
TVZ, he
defensive.
was pretty passive.
And I think TVP as
Oh,
well.
it was TVP. You're
Oh,
right.
okay.
It was right.
Yeah.
Sorry, TVP was passive. Maybe TVT.
Maybe
was
he's like a
different.
player that has two
Yeah.
ends of the spectrum. He's either like hyper aggressive or he's
Well,
like hyper macro.
Yeah, because someone said that he used to be really known for being cheesy.
Yeah,
right?
he did a
In
lot of
Albany.
like 2-base play versus
There you go.
pretty much every race. He did 2-base play versus Zerg, 2-base versus Terran.
So like his brother
Yeah.
when he's not playing Zerg.
Yeah. Except maybe a little less infuriating to play against.
You hate playing against Piggy? The real pig?
When he's on a Starlord account, yeah, because I know that there's going to be some
Jeez.
dumb shit going on, and it's not fun.
Okay. Well, mate, congrats. I look forward to seeing your next series. That was awesome to watch. Jess, I think you
Sup?
deserve a break.
Me?
Both of
Us?
us. Yeah. We're going to get some Nerdsucast from now on, okay?
I think you're right.
I see the
Let's
sun
do
is
that.
shining outside. I know that Azure doesn't like to look outside, but I do. And I see a beautiful ocean with some, like, you know, teal water, and then it gets a little bit darker. So I think I'm going to go get some sunshine, lose a little more skin off my forehead. There's not much left, but I think we're going to take a little break also from the stream. After this, guys, we'll be back with more StarCraft action. Obviously, this is the final day of Oscraft. Hopefully, you guys have been enjoying the tournament so far. Once again, spread the word, if you can, to the world.